Welcome to the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Wags Media. Wags Media provides you with everything you need to generate more customers and grow your brand. Head on over to wagsmedia.com, wagsmedia.com, to enter a contest where you can win a free, done-for-you custom website valued at $2,500 for a limited time only. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Terry Odell with us. She is an award-winning, multi-published author of mystery and romance, although she refers to all of them as mysteries with relationships. So welcome to the show.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Of course. Grateful to have you here, Terry. We'll dive in. The first question I have for you is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
I would say that it's never too late to try something new. I've got 26 publications now, but I never aspired to be a writer. I didn't write my first book in crayon like so many other authors. In fact, my AARP card was well worn before I even thought about writing. And it was more of a mistake, actually. My son was visiting, and because he's a guy, he's flipping through the TV channels, and he stops on one, and he said, "Oh, Mom, this is a cool show." And I thought, well, I better be a good mom, so I started watching it, and it was Highlander, and it was fun to watch. And from there, I got into fan fiction. I found an author I liked. I tried writing. She encouraged me to put the story up on a fan fiction website. People liked it. And I found out I liked writing. So I tried original fiction. The funny part of this story is that later, a year later, maybe more, I asked my son what he thought about a particular Highlander episode. And he said, "Oh, I never watched the show. I just thought it was cool."
Are you still there, Terry?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, gotcha. That was awesome. I laughed and then I heard a pause. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Sure.
The next one that I have for you is, what is the most valuable piece of information that we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Well, I would say, given my late start in all of this, you have to be flexible. You can't really get locked into anything. There's no right answers. You find out what works for you, and somebody's great advice might just totally not work. I believe that spreading myself as wide as possible was my best business decision. I've got my books in print, in ebook, in audio, and they're available across all platforms, just about anywhere you can buy an ebook or an audiobook. You just never know where that one reader is going to find you and spread the word.
And what is your best piece of overall business advice? So let's just say, in terms of you, like if somebody's just getting started in like writing, let's say, and wants to become an author, like what would you tell them? Like what should they start with?
I would say, do what you love to do what you're good at, and hire out the rest. Your job is to put out a professional product. And if you're like me, you're an independent author, you have to write the book, you have to have it edited, you have to have a cover made, you have to do all the marketing. Doing all of that well is impossible. So just find out what you enjoy doing and then set out to discover people who can help you with the rest.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Don't worry about being the best at everything. Don't be afraid to try new things.
And in your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Oh, if we all have our own definitions of happiness, and those can change from day to day, hour to hour, minute by minute even. You just have to look at the positive, do what you love to do, and accept the setbacks as temporary.
And this will be a good one for you. What is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
All right, Tyler, that's like asking me which of my kids is my favorite.
Well, that'll be my next question.
Career-wise, I think it was reading a book called The Shadow Side by Linda Castillo, which she wrote before she got into her best-selling Amish mysteries. Everyone had told me that there were rules I had to follow if I wanted to write a book and get it published. And when I read her book, I saw that she'd broken many of them. And it gave me the confidence to know that there were alternatives. I didn't have to have my hero and heroine meet on the first page of the book.
And which one of your kids is your favorite?
On any given day, I have two wonderful children.
I got you.
Yeah, I happen to have three kids.
Oh man, that's funny. That's the best answer you're gonna get. And what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote: "Age does not diminish the extreme disappointment of having a scoop of ice cream fall from the cone." And that's from Jim Feibig or Feebig. I'm not sure how he pronounces it. And why it's my favorite is because it reminds me it's important not to take things too seriously, that there are things that bring all ages together and to embrace them, both the happy and the not so happy moments.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. The last question that I have for you before we let you go is, where is the best place for people to find you online?
My website, which is terryodell.com. And from there, you get links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Amazon, Audible, and my blog. And I love to hear from readers either via the contact form on my website or just leave a comment on my blog.
Perfect. Thank you again for joining us. We appreciate it.
It was my pleasure, Tyler.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.